It was
Right.
great seeing you last week in Halifax at your Spoiled Agent event.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw Paul with us on tour. So you were in Toronto with us. You were in Halifax with us. So we really, really appreciate you're also in Durham region,
Yep, Montreal
Montreal. Wow, my gosh, that seems like a long time ago.
does actually. It does.
Hello, everyone. All right. Well, we have some spoiled agents on Facebook. We have some on Zoom. I just want to welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. I don't know about you guys, but I know where Paul and I are in Ontario. It's a pretty snowy day today. Yeah.
It's very windy, very cold. There's like a little trace of snow, but apparently there's more coming. I
Yes,
guess
more
it's
coming.
our turn. Everywhere else in Canada has had it, so I guess it's Toronto's turn today.
But you know, Paul, I feel a lot of us want to be where your background is right now with that cutie pie behind you.
That's Kangaroo Island
Oh,
in South Australia. It's what we call a zoo without borders. It's
wow.
beautiful.
So cute. He's saying hi over your head. Hi, Paul. Well, I want to welcome
Oh,
everybody.
sorry. I thought you were talking about my screen. Well, the guy behind me, he's a quokka,
A quokka.
and quokkas are found on Rottnest Island in Western Australia. So about 45-minute ferry ride from downtown Perth. You'll have Rottnest Island, which you can go over. I'm starting the webinar already.
That's okay.
It's a day. You can do it as a day tour, or there's accommodation. There's glamping, for example, on Rottnest Island. It's beautiful island. You can do like you can rent bikes. You can circumnavigate the island in a day. There's restaurants and attractions and things. But yeah, you can find these cute little quokkas. They're the happiest animals in the world. And if you give them a leaf or something, they will take it from your hand and then will eat it. And they always look like they're smiling.
Oh, so
Yeah, they're
cute.
very cute.
Like you, Paul. Always look happy and joyful.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, I see Chris here on Zoom said, I have some gifts coming from the Aussie Specialist Program. Can't wait.
Oh, great.
Awesome. Good morning,
Nice.
everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you guys are. I'm not sure, but I know right now it's lunchtime for Paul and I. Maybe it's coffee time wherever you guys are. But we have a really special guest, a really great friend of all of ours here at Spoiled Agent, Paul Larcher, who's the account director for Tourism Australia. Welcome, welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Susan. And thank you for everyone who's tuning in.
Amazing. You've got a great crowd already. And I know Paul and I were talking a little bit earlier about today's prize. And I will tell you, he changed it just before we went live, but for a good reason. Paul, do you want to say what it is today?
Sure. I normally I would just do a $50 giftcard.ca gift card, but since it's the holidays, we're going to do two $50 gift card draws.
Wow, that's
That
amazing. So generous. Thank you so much. That's great.
you're welcome.
So there's going to be two lucky spoiled agents that are going to win that.
Oh, look at all the little love signs and hands.
They're all saying awesome, awesome. So if you guys are joining us on Zoom, we've got you covered because you register with your email. If you're joining us over here on Facebook, because that's where Facebook is, please, I see already Guy has put his email in and Ermilia, please put your email in the comments. We really appreciate it. And so we know you're here today as well. Okay. The session is being recorded. If you guys have any questions for Paul, we're going to take them at the end, but from the Q&A box. Okay. So we're going to keep the chat for those oohs and ahs, I like to say, and we'll keep the question box just for the Q&As. Okay. So I know Paul's got lots of great information. You guys are going to hear all about Selling Australia 102 and some great updates from nothing but an expert. So, Paul, over to you. I'm going to close off my screens, but I'm right here at the end and we'll take the Q&A, okay?
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot,
Paul.
Susan.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Hey, Spoil Agents, and happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday, wherever you are. Again, Paul, I'm the account director for Tourism Australia. I've been repping for Tourism Australia for over 10 years now in Canada, which is been a great experience. And I mean, it's such a great destination to represent. Um, I'm just going to start off with a quick little video just to get us all in the Aussie mood. Here we
Hi
go.
world, Australia here. We've got so many new experiences waiting for you to discover. Are you ready to feel like you've never felt before? Feel the spirit of the world's oldest living culture thriving. Feel the connection when you meet the locals. Feel the pace of island life and all its surroundings. Feel pampered by nature. No, feel completely spoiled by nature. Do you want to see the unbelievable? See things from a new angle. See an art gallery along the ocean floor. See nature, untamed, up close and personal. See masterpieces from unexpected and unrivaled perspectives. See the world's largest open range zoo. Do you want to experience more than you could ever imagine? Do fairways by the sea and putts over cliff tops. Do Sydney from greater heights than you could ever imagine. Do the tropical north and dive into adventure. Do the south in absolute opulence. Do everywhere in between like this, and this. Are you ready to feel, see, do a new Australia? We're ready when you are.
So I hope you enjoyed that quick
Hi
little.
world,
Come on, move.
Australia here.
Come on. Hold on.
Hi world.
Stop it. There we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that quick little video clip of Australia. As you can see, it's an amazing destination. I mean, every of the states and territories are so different from each other. Um, it's a great place. We have a huge repeat factor. People, once they go, love it and they'll want to go back, which is great for you because then you have another nice trip behind to make commission on. So some of the reasons why people visit Australia are beautiful beaches and coastal scenery. We've got some awesome coastal drives that your clients can do. Obviously, the wildlife. You'll see wildlife that you won't see anywhere else in the world unless you go to visit a zoo, perhaps. But here in Australia, you can see them actually in their natural wild habitat. Our amazing cosmopolitan cities, our fantastic outback, remarkable journeys. For example, two of our famous rail journeys are the GAN and the Indian Pacific. So the GAN will run from Adelaide in the south through the Red Centre and up to Darwin in the north. And then the Indian Pacific runs from Sydney through Adelaide all the way out to the west of Perth. An interesting fact about these two rail journeys is that about 70% of the people who actually take the trains are Australian. So if you've got clients that really want to spend a couple of days immersing themselves with Aussies, hearing their stories and learning about Aussie life, book them on one of the GAN or the Indian Pacific. First of all, they're amazing trains. They're beautiful. They've got amazing food. And it's something your clients will really enjoy. Our natural landscapes. Aussies are so friendly. They're funny. They have a very strong affinity to Canadians. They really like Canadians. So a lot of people go to meet Aussies. Obviously, our food and wine, being surrounded by water, obviously seafood is abundant. We've got wine regions in every one of our 8 states and territories, except for Northern Territory, and that's because it's mainly outback, so it's desert. And then our Indigenous culture. We've got the world's oldest living Indigenous culture. And you don't have to get your clients out into the outback necessarily to have an Indigenous experience. One of the most popular ones in Sydney, for example, is a woman by the name of Auntie Margaret. So when you arrive in Sydney, for example, it's usually about 7 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, their hotel rooms won't be ready till early afternoon. So what a lot of agents like to do is they'll book a nice, easy walking tour with Auntie Margaret. And she takes them around the Rocks district, which is the oldest part of Sydney, close by the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And she'll talk about the Indigenous peoples of past who occupied that area. Anyway, and then by the time they finish, they can have a little lunch, and then the hotel will be ready to check in. Um, Flying times from Vancouver to Brisbane, about 14 and a half hours. Into Sydney, it's about an hour more. Um, we say +2 because, as you probably know, when you're flying from Vancouver to Australia, you cross the international date line. So if you leave on a Wednesday night, for example, most of the flights leave about 11 o'clock out of Vancouver. Um, you would arrive in Brisbane or Sydney Friday morning. So you lose a day. Coming home, you would leave, for example, on a Friday morning, and you would arrive. This is kind of strange, but you would leave Brisbane or Sydney, for example, east coast of Australia. You would arrive in Vancouver around the same time, the same day. So even though you've been flying for over 14 hours, you leave the east coast of Australia around breakfast time, you arrive in Vancouver same day around breakfast time. Of course, Air Canada, one of our major flying partners, flies from Vancouver to Brisbane and Sydney daily in high season. And we have Air New Zealand. You can fly through Auckland. A lot of travel agents book Air New Zealand because of their service. Their service is quite good. And also another little tip, if you've got clients that are flying through Sydney to an onward destination, for example, Melbourne or Adelaide, the international to domestic connection in Sydney is a bit clumsy. You have to collect your bags, you got to go through customs, you have to get on a coach, and it takes you around to the domestic terminal. And it takes a while. So if you have clients going that route, make sure that you leave a good amount of connecting time. However, if you put your passengers through Auckland, Auckland is a very small airport. The connecting times to Australia are usually pretty decent. You do not have to go through customs or whatever. But from Auckland, you can fly to about 8 destinations in Australia. So just something to think about. Something else that's great is we have Qantas flying out of Vancouver year round now. And in my time with Tourism Australia, we've never had that. So we're very excited to have Qantas flying out of Vancouver year round. Another option is Fiji. Fiji Airways is relatively new out of Vancouver, and you can connect your passengers through Natty to 6 destinations in Vancouver. So just a few ways to get there. Options. One of the things we always stress is that Australia is, although it's an island, it's a continent and it's big. So it's about the same size as US or Canada. This is important because I know when your clients come to you and say they want to go to Australia and they've got 2 weeks, for example, and they say, we want to see everything. You have to explain to them that, for example, a European coming to Canada for 2 weeks would not be able to see everything. So as a general rule of thumb, we say for every 2 weeks, you've got clients in Australia, 3 destinations is optimum. So for example, Sydney, the Red Centre, like Ayers Rock, and then Great Barrier Reef, or maybe Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. And to fully illustrate that, to show you some domestic flying times, just to kind of put it in perspective, Sydney to Perth is somewhat similar to flying from the East Coast to West Coast of Canada, 4.5 hours. Up to Cairns, it's 3 hours. Into the Red Centre, 3.5. And up to Darwin, the top end, is about 4.5 hours. So again, when your clients are moving around Australia, it will chew up a good part of a day. So just please keep that in mind. We've got beautiful beaches, 10,000 beaches. If you were to visit if you were to visit one every day, it would take you 27 years. The Great Barrier Reef, it is the world's largest living organism and the only living organism that you can see from outer space. It is here in Queensland. It is roughly the full length of the whole state. It's 1,400 kilometers, which is roughly the same length as the west coast of the United States. So just a quick lesson on our 8 states and territories. Um, Melbourne is the capital of Victoria. Sydney's the capital of New South Wales. Hobart is the capital of Tasmania. Perth is the capital of Western Australia. And our capital, ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, is Canberra. Northern Territory is Darwin. South Australia, big wine producing state, is Adelaide. And finally, the capital of Queensland is Brisbane. So I've got a slide on some of the key things to see and do in each of the states and territories. Because of time, I'm going to whiz through this pretty quickly. So please try and keep up. So first of all, obviously, the capital of New South Wales is Sydney. It is the largest natural harbor in the world. Some of the iconic sites, of course, the Harbor Bridge, which is opposite from what you're looking at, the Sydney Opera House. Your clients can climb the Harbor Bridge. There are different lengths of climb. You can do a full climb, you can do a partial climb, a half climb. It depends on first of all, their physical capabilities and also maybe how much time they've got. They are very safe. They do thorough safety instructions before you do a climb. You're not allowed to take your cell phone out or any camera because they don't want it to accidentally fall. If they think that someone is inebriated, they don't let them climb, but they do climb rain or shine. So if you've got your clients on a fairly tight schedule and it happens to be a bit, inclement weather that day, your clients don't have to worry because they will still be able to do the climb. Opposite the bridge, obviously, is a beautiful opera house, and you can book your clients on a behind the scenes tour. I did it finally after 10 and a half years in the spring, and it was great. I loved it. I mean, they take you into all the different spaces. They talk about how the scenery is moved up and down. And if you book early enough, you might even be able to get your clients in to see a performance. 70 beaches within the city limits. Right between the Harbor Bridge and the Opera House is Circular Quay, which is where all the main ferries leave to go to the likes of Bondi Beach, for example. So you can do like a nice little, you can go over to Bondi Beach for lunch or whatever, watch the surfers. You can go to Taronga Zoo. Taronga Zoo has a beautiful view of downtown Sydney. And just about an hour and a half north, you'll have the Blue Mountains, which is a great day tour you could do out of Sydney for your clients. They're called the Blue Mountains because of all the eucalyptus trees and the oil that comes off the eucalyptus trees mix with the moisture in the air, and it actually creates like a bluish hue in the air. So it's really pretty. Your clients can do a sky rail tour across the gorge, and it's got a glass bottom so they can look right down to the bottom of the gorge. We also have the world's steepest inclinator or train. It's at 51-degree angle, and it takes your clients right down to the bottom of the gorge where they can do walks. Depending on time, there are different walks they can do. But it's funny when people are sitting in this inclinator and it starts moving and it goes over the edge. You're looking almost straight down. So people are kind of scream a little bit, but it does not go like a roller coaster. It's quite slow, but it's a beautiful way to get down to the bottom of the gorge. Hunter Valley, which isn't too far from Blue Mountains, about 2 hours north, a very nice leisurely area. It's got farm to table kind of experiences, beautiful little wineries. They don't really actually export a lot of wines from the Hunter Valley because a lot of the vineyards are quite small, but you can go horseback riding, hot air ballooning. It's a beautiful area. And then I'll skip over South Coast. South Coast is the area that you would drive from Sydney to Melbourne. A lot of Australians vacation in this area, but it's beautiful and kind of unspoiled. Byron Bay is up north of the state, almost to the border with Queensland. It's very popular because this is where the Hemsworths live. So you'll see them often walking around. Chris, Liam. Also, Zach Efron stayed here during the pandemic a lot. It's a really funky little surf town. If any of you are old enough to know what a hippie is, there are people that walk around dressed as hippies with tie-dye shirts and blouses and skirts and bare feet. Some of the hotels you can stay at, like little boutique ones, sometimes the chef will take you to the farmer market on a Thursday morning, and you can shop with the chef and pick up local produce and whatever, and he'll make it for dinner, and you can experience that in the evening. So moving up to Queensland, if you look in the top corner, by the way, you'll see a little map to kind of show you where we are. The capital is Brisbane, a really thriving city. It has really come a long way in the last 15 or so years. It is the fastest growing city in Australia. It's multicultural. It's got amazing restaurants, museums. Um, as I say it, before it used to be just kind of a place to fly into and then take off, like go somewhere else. But now it's actually a destination unto itself. But it is a good jumping off point. If you drive south about an hour or so to the Gold Coast, 70 kilometers of beach, different precincts all along the beach. The beach is amazing. Very family friendly. There are two theme parks in the area. Um, excuse me. The most popular area probably is called Surfers Paradise, and a lot of high rises here, like high rise condos and hotels. There's bars and restaurants and wax museums. And just a hint, if you've got families, it's probably not the best paid place to stay on a weekend. I was there at the Hilton at the 45th floor, I think it was, on a weekend, and it sounded like people were partying on my terrace, like on my balcony. It can get quite loud on a weekend, but tons of things to see and do, and spectacular beach. So going north from Brisbane, about an hour, no, about 2 hours, is the Sunshine Coast. Beautiful little town out there called Noosa, all low rise, totally different than the Gold Coast, much more laid back. Easily from Noosa, you can get to the Australia Zoo, which is Steve Irwin's zoo. He started, his family still run it. Oftentimes, you can see the Irwins walking around the zoo. They never had accommodation close to the zoo before, but they actually have now. They have accommodation actually on the property, which is really handy. Whit Sundays, it's kind of the southern end of the Great Barrier Reef. 74 islands. They're pristine water, snorkeling, scuba diving. It's just beautiful. Like Hayman Island, the Intercontinental, the one and only, just a couple other places that you may have heard of, is just a spectacular area. And then quickly, just going up to the very top end of Queensland is Cairns, Palm Cove, and Port Douglas, jumping off points to the Great Barrier Reef. And just north of that is the Daintree Rainforest in Cape Trib. And the rainforest is the only one in the world where it actually meets the beach. So it's pretty special. Going down south to Victoria, capital is Melbourne. If you've got clients who love a coffee culture, this is the place for them to go. They've turned a lot of their alleyways that used to just be, places for garbage bins, whatever, turned them into beautiful laneways with they commission graffiti artists, not just let people go wild and paint the walls or whatever. It's a very cosmopolitan area, beautiful city. Some people liken it to Toronto. I don't really see that myself, but because I'm from Toronto. But anyway, it's very easy to get around. The trams in the center of the city are actually free, so that's kind of a nice little selling point. From Melbourne, you can go down an hour and a half to Phillip Island. I'm not sure if you've heard, but they have the Penguin Parade there. It is so special. Like if you've got clients that are in the Melbourne area, they have to go spend an evening at Phillip Island. You can do a lot of day tours out of Melbourne. We'll do the Mornington Peninsula and then end up at Phillip Island to watch the Penguin Parade. But there are different viewing platforms. You cannot really sit on the beach as you see in that picture anymore. But they've got viewing platforms, and you wait for the penguins to come out. And obviously, they're not on a time clock. They come out when they feel like it. It's usually when the sun starts to go down, and you might see one pop out on the beach, and everyone's like, "Oh, here they come, here they come!" And he kind of looks around, he turns around, he jumps back in the ocean, and then a few minutes later, a couple more may jump out, and then they jump back in. But what they're doing is they're looking for predators to make sure that there's no foxes or dogs or someone who may attack them. And once they feel that the coast is clear, thousands of them just jump out of the water onto the beach and then waddle up to their little dens in the sand dunes. Um, you cannot take photographs. You cannot use flashes because the flashes startle them, and because they've been out in the ocean for a day or two fishing, so they eat the fish, they take it to their burrow, and then they kind of regurgitate it. Hopefully, no one's eating their lunch right now. Um, and then the family eats it. If you use a flash on your camera, it can startle them, and then they can throw up on the beach. So unfortunately, the fish doesn't get to their family. And they do have rangers walking around making sure people don't do it. You can download pictures and you can post them on social media. So your friends and family or your clients' friends and family will even know that they didn't take them. Anyway, Yarra Valley, about an hour north of Melbourne, big wine producing area. Great Ocean Road. It starts about an hour southwest of Melbourne, Geelong, and you can do the Great Ocean Road in a day. However, we always recommend that they stop, book them an accommodation somewhere halfway along. One of the reasons is if you do it in a day, you have to go quite quickly. And also, most tour buses leave about 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're doing it in a day, you're going to probably end up being every scenic outlook stopping with two or three or more tour buses. So if your clients are going to do it over 2 days, they can start maybe a little bit later in the morning. So they're actually kind of following behind the tour buses. So they're going to have a more enjoyable experience. Then from when they finish the Great Ocean Road, they can either continue on to Adelaide or they can double back into Melbourne. But a nice scenic way back is inland. And they can stop at Ballarat, which is a historic gold mining town, and then make their way back. And Gippsland is a beach destination in South Victoria. So going up to the north, Northern Territory, Darwin, capital of the NT. This was the most heavily bombed city, actually, of during World War II. They've got right in the middle of the city, Crocosaurus Cove, where you can swim with crocodiles. You're actually not in the same water. Well, you're in the same water with crocodiles, but you're in a big plastic tube. I know I have not done it, but I did feed the crocodiles. Anyway, they've got all sorts of mammals and reptiles that it's a great family kind of destination. And from Darwin, it's a great starting off point to visit two of the national parks up there, Kakadu and Catherine Gorge. Lots of indigenous experiences that your clients can enjoy in both of those areas as well. Going right into the center of the continent, you'll find Uluru, and Alice Springs and Kings Canyon. Uluru, one of the amazing things to do is to have dinner under the stars, and you can just watch the sun go down and the colors on Uluru changes. If you do have clients that are going to Uluru, my recommendation is you can certainly walk around Uluru, but especially at certain times of the year, it is very, very hot. What I did was a segue, and it was a great way to see Uluru. You start first thing in the morning, have breakfast, and then when the sun comes up, you see the rocks, the rock changing colors, and it's a very comfortable way to see Uluru. Kings Canyon is 2 hours away from here, and if you've seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the final scene where they climb up Kings Canyon, that's filmed right there. You have to be fairly fit to do the Kings Canyon rim walk, though. It's quite extensive. South Australia, Australia's probably biggest wine producing area. Adelaide is the capital. I love Adelaide. It is a great little city. It's great for walking. Um, just north of that, you got the Barossa Valley. Two of the big names, wine names that come out of there are Jacobs Creek and Penfolds. Going south of Adelaide and taking a short ferry ride, you find Kangaroo Island, which was my home page, the first page. Um, You'd also do a 30-minute flight from Adelaide, but there are coaches that can take you down, and um, you can book tours that include coach from the Adelaide bus station down to the ferry, ferry across, and then accommodation on the island. But we do call it a zoo without borders because you can go to Seal Beach and you can see sea lions lounging around. You'll see koalas in the trees. You'll see kangaroos and wallabies jumping all around. It's a really special place. Going out west, we have WA, Western Australia, out on the Indian Ocean. Capital's Perth, a beautiful city, very, very clean. I do find myself that it is not really great for people who like late nights, but 9 o'clock at night seems to kind of settle down. But it's beautiful. And then from Perth, you can go to Rottnest Island to see the quokkas, like behind me here. Margaret River is a couple hours south. There are day tours that you can do. It's a very, very long day tour. So I would recommend if you've got clients who want to visit this premium wine producing area, that you probably want to have them stay over. And then the northwest corner of WA, you'll find Ningaloo Reef. So you fly from Perth into Exmouth, and you can have your clients swim with the whale sharks, which I did. They should be fairly good swimmers because the boats take you out beyond the reef. So it can be quite rough at times. And the day I did it, it was quite rough. But one tip that I have for you is if you have clients that want to do it, make sure you book a tour that has a helicopter or a plane spotter. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is when you're out looking for the whale sharks on your tour boat, if you don't have the aerial advantage, it's hard sometimes for the boats to find where the whale sharks are. But if you've got a company that's got the plane or the helicopter, they'll radio the boat and the boat can get into position ahead of the whale sharks. So then you can jump in the water and be there as they swim by. So just a little tip. And then ACT, almost finished. ACT is the capital. Canberra, it's a beautiful little city. I was just there in May for the very first time. It's pristine, it's clean, it's really up and coming. There's like new precincts being built with new restaurants. They've got some local wineries. It's like a government town. There's lots of museums. The art gallery is there. The National War Memorial. I did a hot air balloon over the city one morning. It was spectacular. I was a bit terrified, but once you're up there, it's actually quite calm. Anyway, there are events that go on year round. I would say 3 days max in Canberra, but if people are driving from Sydney down to Melbourne, this is a great place to stop. And Tasmania, the little island south of Melbourne. Hobart is the capital. Really cool little town. If you've got clients that are going to go to Tasmania and visit Hobart, try and get them to be there on a Saturday because they have the Salamanca Market, which is this really cool outdoor market. You can spend a whole day there browsing around. They also have Mona, which is the Museum of Old and New Art, which is not far from downtown. You can either like take an Uber or whatever or drive, or they have their own fast ferry that leaves right from downtown Hobart to the museum. It's quite controversial, some of the art pieces. I won't go into detail, but if you're interested, Google it. But yeah, some of the art pieces are a little different. Uh, then anyway, Tasmania is like an amazing destination, especially if you've got clients who love the outdoors. They love walking because there are lots of walking trails in Tasmania. There's some good wineries too. And just finally, have to plug our Aussie Specialist Program. How am I doing for time? Not bad. Have to plug our Aussie Specialist Program. It's one of the oldest destination training programs that's been around. We have a team of people in our Sydney head office that all they do is keep it up to date. Um, it's actually easier to become a qualified as Aussie specialist now. It only takes 90 minutes. And once you're qualified, you get invited to webinars, etc. And I'll show you a very quick little video. No, said it was going to be quick. Yeah, so it's award-winning specialist program. We have a 98% agent satisfaction rate. So agents who take the program feel more confident about talking and selling in Australia. And also they actually are selling higher end product after taking the program. You get a certificate once you qualify that you can frame and put on your desk. You can also use the logo on your business cards or on your website. Um, it's um, it's a great program. You get invited to webinars once you qualify. If you're doing events in your area, you'll get an invitation. If we're ever doing fam trips, we'll only invite Aussie specialists to apply. And we have a private Facebook group, and we're always doing fun little interviews and also contests where you can win Aussie merchandise. And just on that point, after you do the 90-minute basic program and qualify, you can go on and do other modules. We have modules that specialize in wineries, walking tours, golf. We have modules that drill down more into each state and territory. So you can go on and do other modules depending on your interest level or your client's interest. And when you do those modules, by the way, you also earn points that you can redeem for merchandise. And you can go on our like our online store, you can pick whatever you like, and we ship it to you at no cost. So that is it. There's moi, and I also work with Laura in Eastern Canada and Gustavo out west. And we are here if you have any questions, or you can always just email hotline at tourism.australia.com. Thank you.
Paul, I'm going to tell you, tons of people are saying what an informative session. They loved it. It was blowing up over here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what a,
I mean, it's a big country, so there's a lot to talk about. So I tend to talk quickly because I know people's time is valuable.
but you really are an expert and people appreciate it. And someone said that it really adds like insight to them to have a better idea of the area. So that's great.
I'm
So,
glad.
let's see here. I launched a poll. I'm not sure if this will work. Let's see
Oh
here.
yes, you're experimenting.
Yeah, so let's see here. So on Facebook, guys, I launched a poll asking if you guys are an Aussie specialist. So just let us know if you are. But also just in the chat here on Zoom, let us know as well because it takes like no time. And like Paul said, you can be on fam lists and webinar lists and all sorts of great stuff. I also see some people have their hands up that are on Zoom. So guys, if you have a question, I'm going to direct you to the Q&A box. Yeah, okay, so Lena is, oh, lots of people. Oh my God. Shauna said Australia was her favorite trip. Wow.
Oh, great. I'm not that I'm surprised.
No.
Of
Um,
course.
Janine, she's a specialist. Okay, Jennifer, thank you for this wonderful information. Really cool. Awesome. Amazing. All right. Okay, guys. So let's see here. Paul, you've got a few questions, and I
Okay.
just want to thank everyone here on Facebook as well. So you guys also had some great viewership as well. But the first question is from Celine, and Celine is in Montreal. So for the e-visa on Amadeus, what is a new transaction?
Uh, these the white elephant in the room. Okay. So post-pandemic, you cannot an agent cannot do a visa, an ETA through GDS anymore. You have to download the app onto the client's phone, and the client has to do it themselves. And it's $20 Australian. Um, it's fairly easy. I mean, I know it might be difficult maybe for the older passengers, someone might need help, but it's relatively easy. You scan your, that's the hardest part is to scan your information page because it's glossy. So you have to kind of maneuver your camera appropriate. But once you scan it and you take a selfie, a lot of the information is auto-populated. So then there's just a couple of questions, like, have you got a criminal record or whatever? So unfortunately, yeah, agents can't do the visa through GDS anymore. They have to use the app. And I have to tell you, of the 16 international markets where we have representation like me, we always tell the Sydney office it's a pain and agents don't like it. So we give them the feedback.
That's good. I'm just going to try to launch it. Okay, let's
Oh,
launch the poll.
there you go. What's
So
that?
on Zoom, let us know if you're an Aussie specialist. It's already been launched on Facebook. Lots of you've answered. Let's see here. We're going to give it a few more minutes, guys. If you're on Zoom, lock in your answers.
This is fun.
I know. You know what, Paul? Some people are not, but they're going to become one. Like
Yeah,
very,
it's like 90 minutes, two glasses of wine.
oh my, two.
Well, they're bottled. Whatever.
Paul. Okay, I'm going to close the poll up, but we have a few more people. Guys, lock in your answers. I see a couple more answers coming in. Okay, so far, 45% already are Aussie specialists on this call today. Oh, more. We're getting up there. Almost 50%.
Wow, that's
So
great.
that's half and half. So the other half, guys, you guys gotta get on it. All right, I'm gonna end the poll. That was fun.
That was fun. So
All
can
right,
you
guys.
keep track of the answers or like does it give you a report?
Yeah, it gives me like how many percent.
Oh, cool. Mm.
That's how I knew almost half are and the other half aren't, but we're not worried about the other half because they're gonna get on board for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, so Chris, who I know is an Aussie specialist, said, "What is a truly unique and Australian local food or beverage to recommend to clients?"
Well, beverage, I would just say any Australian wine. Um, there's but food, geez, if you go into a pub, you can like, oh, I know. Okay. Well, Lamingtons, first of all, is a dessert. It's like a like a chocolate cake kind of thing. It's coated in chocolate and then rolled in coconut. They're delicious.
Oh, we're hungry over
So
here.
Lamingtons are great. If you go into a pub, um, Australians love parms, they call them. So like chicken parm, for example. So if you order chicken parm, you get like a usually an oval plate. It's got on the bottom like half salad, half fries, and then there will be this gigantic piece of breaded chicken on top. And it can feed a family of five.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. But no, they're individual. But I mean, it's so much food. But they have other kinds of parm, like they do beef parm, and anyway, so yeah, parms in a pub are very, very popular. Of course, fish and chips are very popular as well. You can get kangaroo at a lot of places. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's becoming very popular. Yeah.
That's okay. To each his own, right? For sure. I just want to have a comment. Kate said on Zoom, I'm doing my specialist training right now.
Right,
Amazing.
right.
Jillian's asking, what was the name of that train again that you talked about early in the beginning?
Oh, there's the two. It's the company's called Journeys Beyond, and they actually do operate the two trains, but they also actually have expanded their program and they have attractions all over Australia now. But there's the GAN, like GHAN, which runs from Adelaide through the Red Centre to Darwin, or the Indian Pacific that goes Sydney, Adelaide, Perth. So either north, south, or east, west. But just if you go to Journeys Beyond website, you'll see it and there are other attractions. They also have a reef sleep. So in the Whit Sundays, they have a pontoon, like a double-decker pontoon, and they actually have two rooms underwater that you can book for your clients. So they are sleeping in guest rooms underwater. So they have one wall looking out at the fish. Um, and then the main deck is for the public. And then on the upper deck, they actually have sleep pods. So they're kind of like tents, but they're luxurious. And you can sleep out there under the stars. So Journey Beyond does that as well.
Wow.
They have a lot of different unique experiences.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that you've been there several times really helps, you know, that you are really the expert for sure. Jillian said she wants to do a presentation on Australia, and she wants to know if there's any way that you can help her get some slides or some information to share.
Sure. Yeah. Here, just let me go back.
So I'm gonna also
My
put,
email address is there. If you want to send me an email, I can send you a link to our resources site. You can download videos and images.
okay, great. So someone anonymous said, and the debate, do we refer to Australia as more of an island, a country, or a continent?
It's a continent. Well, it's a continent, but it's also a country. I
Okay,
wouldn't call it an island because I think I mean, although it is, it's deceiving because most people think PEI or something, I mean,
right.
it is a country, definitely. And it is also a continent because it's so large. I don't know if that
Jacqueline
helps
on
to think
Zoom
about
wants you to
it.
know that she was an exchange student in Australia. Wow.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Lucky.
nice. Nice experience. So Sam's asking, do the prices range by seasons? So for example, beautiful locations are higher during festive periods like Christmas, due to larger crowds. Is there a time the prices are lower? That type of thing.
Yes. Yeah, like any destination, prices fluctuate. You do have to remember, maybe stating the obvious, but you do have to remember Australia's in the southern hemisphere, so it's opposite to us. So we're going into fall, they're going into summer right now. So Christmas is hot, and it is, yes, high season. You do have to watch for things like school break, which is in the spring, like our March break. So I think theirs is usually in May. So you kind of have you maybe do a little bit of research, just to Google like public holidays in Australia before you book your clients. Because for example, when I was in Noosa a couple of years ago, north of Brisbane, I ended up planning to be there during school break. Um, A, yes, the rates were high. B, it was very, very busy. C, you couldn't go near the pool because there were so many children.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So yeah, of course, rates fluctuate. Um, I find when I go like April or May, the weather throughout the country is ideal. Like I think it's a great time of year to go. Um, if you go in their winter, down south, like there's the down south, like Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, can be chilly. I mean, 10 degrees or so, which is still nice for walking around. Um, but if you go north of the equator, like north of the Tropic of Capricorn, I mean, like from say Brisbane north or the Red Centre, like it's great weather year round.
Okay. Sounds like we have to get there, Paul, for sure.
I know I'm going in April. I can't wait.
Are you? Ah, amazing. Martin's asking, so you mentioned some airlines to get to Australia. Do you have any input on airlines within Australia to get around?
Sure. I mean, there's Qantas, there's Jetstar, there's Virgin Australia. I would suggest it depends on who you use for your trans-Pacific carrier. For example, Air Canada have alliances with I think it's Virgin Australia. So yeah, I would if you're whatever trans-Pacific carrier you use, they are usually aligned with some of the carriers in Australia. I use Qantas when I'm there. I use Qantas in Virgin Australia. I shouldn't say this. I don't use like some of the low cost carriers because
Of
they can
course
be
you don't.
they they can be very unreliable.
Okay.
I'm just I mean if you're someone's on a really tight budget, then by all means, but just warn them to be flexible if the flight is delayed or whatever.
Well, that's fair. Fair, fair. And I think that's, general, right? In general. So
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing.
I don't know
Um,
if that helped.
no, for sure. But we've had some people ask also about the prize. And I just want to say, Paul,
Oh,
don't forget that there's two $50 gift cards, but people are asking how, because maybe they missed a little bit about it. I got the champagne bottles going.
I know, it's cute.
So you guys, Paul's gonna pick a name in a couple of days. We're gonna give him a couple days. We're gonna send the list over later. So Paul has it. And a lot of people have also asked me about the recording of this. So it's gonna be loaded up a little bit later today on Paul's supplier page on Spoiled Agent. So you simply go to spoiledagent.com and then go down to tours boards and click on Tourism Australia and give us a couple of hours and we'll get that loaded up. And all of the other webinars we've done with them, not just today's, but if you have to go back and reference something, it's there as well. Always good. Oh, so that's great. You only said a really great refresher. That's great.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice. Thank
Paul,
you.
you're an amazing ambassador. I mean, everyone's commenting that I'm going to tell you, people put this is a 5-star presentation in the chat.
Oh my God. That's so sweet. Thank you. That's
And
nice.
that deserves
Tell my boss. Tell my boss.
I'm telling you, they put 5 stars. Some girl put five
Uh,
stars.
that's very nice.
There you
Thank you.
go. Look at that. Everyone's getting on board. But I want to thank you for everything, Paul. You're like amazing to work with. We love you. We love all of your Vox family as well. And of course, Tourism Australia. So I want to thank you all for joining us. And if you guys get an email from Paul in a few days, there'll be two of you getting an email. It is very good news, right, Paul?
Exactly. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in and for the beautiful comments. It's really appreciated. And we love Susan and all the ladies at Spoiled Agent. They do a great job. They're hard workers. And I just want everyone to have a great holiday season and be safe and be happy. And hopefully we'll see you all sometime in the new year.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for everything. Oh, they love you. Look at that. It's going bananas here. Thank you, Paul. And you guys have a great holiday season. And this is it for you and I to the new year, bud.
It is. Yep. No more travel
I'm
for
gonna
us.
Paul withdrawal. All right, everyone. Thank you, all
You
the
can
spoiled
call me
agents.
anytime. You know my
I will. Thanks to all the spoiled agents for joining us today. You guys get on that specials program. And for those that already have it, get selling Australia. Bye.
thanks. Bye, everybody.